Have you ever wondered what's happening in the unseen realm? While you're fast asleep? When your eyes are closed, your body is still, and your mind is off? Is it just rest? Just dreams? Or is something far greater at work? What if I told you some of the most life-changing things God does for you happen when you have no idea what's going on? This is not just spiritual poetry. It's real. It's practical. And it's happening right now to you, to me, to millions in silence, under darkness, while we sleep. Let's break it down. 1. God fights battles you never even knew existed. While you're snoring peacefully, curled up in bed, there's warfare in the spirit realm. And many times you wake up safe and whole, not because you were lucky, but because God intercepted something fatal. There's a woman in Nigeria who went to bed with zero idea that someone in her extended family had plotted her death through diabolical means. They called her name at 2:47 a.m. at a river shrine, using a photo she had no clue they possessed. But guess what? She had prayed casually before bed. God, protect me tonight. I'm tired. And God heard. That night, the man at the shrine dropped dead on the spot. And she woke up with an unusual peace, unaware that God had neutralized an enemy in the middle of the night. Psalm 91:5 says, "You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day." Terror doesn't only visit during war or trauma. It visits quietly, in whispers, in dreams, in curses, and God wipes them out before they manifest. 2. God repairs what life broke. Think sleep is just for your body? No. It's when God becomes your surgeon. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. He restores what people damaged. He heals wounds you've buried. And he sometimes gives you breakthrough ideas that show up the next morning, as if they were your own. A tech entrepreneur in India had a panic breakdown after a failed investor pitch. He slept for 16 hours straight in total burnout. When he woke up, he suddenly had a clear vision for restructuring his app's entire business model. He later sold that company for over $5 million. He said later, "I didn't dream it. I didn't think it. I just knew it when I woke up. Like someone installed the blueprint in my brain." That's not just rest. That's God downloading revelation in the silence. Job 33:15-16 says, "In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people, he opens their ears and seals their instruction." God sometimes fixes things inside you that you're not even aware are broken. While you sleep, he's doing heart surgery and idea transfer. 3. God moves pieces in your favor. This is the one that blows people's minds. While you're sleeping, God is influencing decisions in boardrooms, softening the hearts of people you'll meet tomorrow, redirecting traffic that would have killed you, and aligning divine appointments that change the trajectory of your life. It's what the Bible calls divine orchestration. There was a man who missed his midnight bus because he fell asleep at the station. He was angry, humiliated, and blamed himself. But that bus, it crashed in the mountains. Everyone on board died. He overslept. But in truth, God delayed him on purpose. We often curse the delays, the detours, the interruptions. But what if those were God's exact strategies to keep you alive? Orchestrating your safety, repositioning you for favor, all while you were unconscious. Romans 8:28 doesn't say you do all the work. It says, God works all things together for good. God works. You sleep? Let that sink in. So tonight, when your head hits the pillow, don't think you're just logging out. Understand something powerful. You're entering the hour when God begins to work behind the scenes. And the scary thing, you may never even know just how much he saved you from. God also exposes your enemies in dreams. This is where things get wild. Not only does God protect, heal, and orchestrate, He also uses the night to reveal what's been hidden from your eyes. There are moments when God decides to pull back the veil and show you who's really for you and who's been smiling in your face while stabbing your back. It doesn't happen through rumors. It doesn't happen through gossip. It happens through dreams and divine impressions, so strong that when you wake up, you can't shake them. A young woman in South Africa kept waking up with a tight chest and panic attacks, even though her life looked peaceful. One night, she dreamt of her closest friend standing over her bed, chanting in a language she didn't understand. The next day, that same friend gave her a bracelet, and she suddenly remembered the dream word for word. A few weeks later, a prophet identified that bracelet as a spiritual snare. They prayed, destroyed it, and her attacks stopped instantly. This isn't superstition. It's divine exposure. Job 33 again says, God speaks once, yea twice, yet man perceives it not. In a dream, to withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. When your spirit is open and your body is silent, God will start to show you things you would never accept while awake. He bypasses your logic. He bypasses your excuses, and He forces you to confront what's real. But here's what's most terrifying and beautiful. You don't always feel it. You wake up feeling normal. You brush your teeth. You check your phone. You scroll through nonsense, having no idea that while you were drooling on your pillow, God rerouted a storm meant for your house. He shut the mouth of someone who intended to betray you today. He whispered to someone to recommend your name for a job you didn't even apply for. This is why the enemy loves to keep us distracted from the spiritual. Because if you really knew how much God was doing while you were unconscious, you'd never go to bed without prayer again. You'd never sleep in bitterness. You'd never ignore the voice of God. Warning: some of you are sleeping through divine appointments. Now here's the twist most people miss. While God is working for you in the night, He's also testing how you respond in the morning. Some of you are sleeping through instructions. You wake up with a strange feeling, a forgotten dream, a name you can't explain, and you shrug it off. But God gave you a piece of your destiny while you were asleep, and you didn't bother to ask Him what it meant. There's a man who had a dream of fire consuming a church. He woke up, thought it was silly, and moved on. 3 days later, the church caught fire, electrical explosion. People were injured. He said later, I could have warned someone, I could have prayed, but I ignored it. Listen carefully. God doesn't only work for you in the night. He also works through you, if you're listening. Practical wake-up call. What should you do now? Before we conclude, here's something practical and life-changing you can do starting tonight. 1. Pray before you sleep. Ask God to cover you and speak clearly. 2. Keep a notebook beside your bed. If you dream, write it down immediately, even the confusing ones. 3. Pray again when you wake up. Say, Lord, what did you do for me while I was sleeping? Ask Him to reveal. You'd be shocked what starts unlocking in your life. You'll begin to sense patterns, warnings, divine nudges. You'll start noticing that the days you prayed before sleep, strange favor seems to follow you. You'll feel peace in the middle of storms you didn't even see forming. Because now you understand, God is not just in your waking. He's in your sleeping. He works when you rest. He fights when you're unaware. He aligns, restores, heals, reveals, all while you sleep like a child. Because He never does. There's one specific reason why God chooses the night to work in your life. It's not random. It's not just peaceful timing. There's a mystery in the night hour, a divine strategy that traces back to ancient scripture, and even Jesus Himself. The reason God chooses to work at night, it's not just about silence. It's not just about your body being still. It's about something far deeper, far older, and strategically spiritual. God chooses the night to work because darkness is the hour of enemy activity. Let that sink in. The Bible is very clear. While men slept, His enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat. Matthew 13:25. That wasn't a parable about farming. That was a spiritual truth. The enemy, Satan, spirits of sabotage, confusion, fear, they don't wait for daylight. They operate at night, in shadows, in silence. But here's the twist most people miss. God isn't avoiding the darkness. He's entering it, confronting it, taking dominion over it. Jesus himself moved in the night. Let's go deeper. Have you ever noticed how many times God performed key moments in the night? Jacob wrestled with God all night and got his destiny changed before sunrise. God killed the firstborn of Egypt at midnight. Final blow to Pharaoh's pride. Jesus prayed and wept in Gethsemane while his disciples were asleep. And most importantly, when did Jesus rise from the dead? Early in the morning, which means something supernatural happened between 3 a.m. and dawn. Resurrection didn't happen at high noon. It happened in the hour when death thought it had won. The night is when God overrides darkness. Here's the powerful revelation. The reason God chooses to work at night is because nighttime is when your enemies assume you're vulnerable. It's the hour the enemy expects you to be unaware, unarmed, unguarded. But God doesn't panic in darkness. He invades it. Psalm 139:12 says, "Even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day." That means your midnight is God's workshop. Where the devil sets up traps, God flips the table. Where curses are pronounced, God cancels them in the spirit. Where fear is whispered, God releases peace so deep that your body literally starts to heal overnight. Night is also when your mind is most accessible. You see, when you're awake, your brain is loud. Your thoughts are racing. Your stress is active. Your fears are spinning. God can speak, but it has to cut through all the noise. But when you sleep, your conscious filters go quiet. Your resistance goes down. Your subconscious opens up. This is why dreams from God feel vivid, piercing, and unforgettable. He's not competing with your ego. He's bypassing it. So when he drops an idea, gives you a warning, or speaks a single word in a dream that echoes for weeks, it's because your spirit was finally still enough to receive it. But here's the danger. If God is working at night, and the enemy is also working at night, and you go to bed spiritually numb, guess what? You've just surrendered the most critical hours of your life to whoever gets there first. That's why you can't afford to go to sleep without aligning with God. You're not just going to bed. You're entering a battlefield, a hospital, a courtroom, a secret place, all at once. What you do before you sleep may be more powerful than anything you do during the day. Why? Because while you're unconscious, decisions are being made in the spirit. Battles are being fought on your behalf, and instructions for your next season are being written by either heaven or hell. So ask yourself, are you giving God room to work in your night? Or are you sleeping while the enemy writes the script for your morning? Because the greatest victories, the deepest healing, the most divine alignments often begin when your eyes are closed and your spirit is wide open. Now you know. You're not just laying down to rest. You're entering sacred hours, the hours where God moves with surgical precision, strategic silence, and supernatural power, while the world is unaware. While you sleep, God fights for you, battles that would have taken you out if he didn't step in. He repairs you, restoring what trauma, heartbreak, and exhaustion tried to destroy. And he orchestrates things you never even prayed for, aligning people, places, and moments in a way no human effort could ever do. But now we've pulled back the curtain even more. And you've seen it. God chooses the night not because it's quiet, but because it's dangerous. Because the enemy works in the dark, and so God confronts him there. It's warfare. It's healing. It's divine administration. And the most shocking part? Most of the time, you don't even know it's happening. You just wake up, go about your day, and never realize that job call was divinely triggered. That avoided accident was angelically rerouted. That sudden peace in your chest? Heaven's fingerprint. You were asleep. God was not. Don't forget this one truth. Your greatest victories may never be witnessed, because they happened while you were sleeping. But heaven recorded every one of them. So from now on, don't take your nights lightly. Don't close your eyes without inviting God in, because he's already in the room. The question is, are you aligned with what he's doing? Sleep is not the absence of activity. It's the presence of divine intervention. Tonight, when you lie down, Know this: you are not alone in the dark. You are being watched over, warred for, and worked on by the God who never sleeps.